Let's have a look at how to solve quadratic equations. When you are solving your equations, you will notice that it's a quadratic once you get to the stage where you've got a letter squared plus maybe possibly a letter and a number. If you have this situation, then you are most likely got a quadratic, and the only way to solve quadratics at this level for what you have learned so far is to make the quadratic equal to 0. And I'll show you in a moment why that is significant. So when you've got a quadratic equation, make sure that all your terms are on one side. In this case, the left-hand side makes sense, but the right-hand side is fine, and that the other side is equal to 0. Once you have that, you're now going to factorize your quadratic into its two-bracket form. So this is a straightforward quadratic. There's no number in front of x squared, so let's just go straight to putting it into our two brackets. Equals to 0. So we still need that equal to 0 part. Okay, so to get our x squared, we would need x times x, so an x in each bracket. And then to get negative 15, most likely 5 and 3, 5 and 3. And I want them to add to plus 2, so that will be a positive 5 minus 3, because 5 minus 3 will give me my 2. So I finished factorizing that bracket. Now that it's factorized, I can do the next part, which is finding the values of x. So in other words, solving it. The reason why factorizing this and equaling to 0 works is because now we've got one bracket times by another bracket equals to 0. And just thinking of some of your number knowledge, if you have 4 times something equals 0, what should that something be? There's only one thing that it can be. That is 0. So anytime you want to have an answer equal to 0, when you multiply two items, one of the numbers needs to be 0. So it could have been the other way around, or they could even both have been 0. But as long as at least one of them is 0, your answer will be 0 all up. The reason why we're going to use this is because we've got two brackets multiplied together. That means that either the first bracket is 0 or the second bracket is 0. So to solve then, we know that we're either going to have the first bracket, which is x plus 5, make 0, or we're going to have x minus 3 equal to 0. Now we can solve for x, because we can figure out what x numbers will make this true. So x for what will make equal to 0 when you add 5. You can either just work these out in your head. Obviously, it's going to be the opposite of plus 5, so it's minus 5. Or you can think of it as solving a little equation where we get rid of plus 5 by subtracting both sides by 5. Then we have our first answer for x. X equals to negative 5. And then the other side, same thing. If we have negative 3, we add 3 to both sides. We will end up with x equals to 3. So our two answers for this particular equation is x equals negative 5 or x equals to 3. And that's how you solve quadratic equations. Thanks for watching. This video was just one of the questions that I do in my online workshops for the NCEA exams. So if you would like to find out more about the workshops and see more of these kinds of questions solved, have a look in the description and you will find a link to the videos. Cheers!